All right, so I got an interesting climate topic for you, and it's,
Okay.
when I get towards the end of it, it's going to pose a question, and I honestly don't know if I have an answer. So I'm really curious to see what you think, and
Okay.
listeners, what you guys think.
Hmm.
So I guess if I was to title this segment, maybe with a question: how do we manage Earth's resources to combat climate change? Now that sounds broad, but it's going to get very specific very quickly. So a little bit of context here. Most people have heard of biodiversity, especially if you've listened to this podcast. We talk about it a lot, but I, for one, have never heard of the term geodiversity, right? Never heard of geodiversity before. You can kind of imagine what it is. But if biodiversity is diversity of life, geodiversity is the term used to describe non-living geological diversity. For example, soil is part of Earth's geodiversity, and the microorganisms living inside the soil are part of the planet's biodiversity. Life can't survive without geodiversity. More to that point, geodiversity is a major factor in climate change, influencing it in several ways, including natural carbon sinks, which store carbon dioxide, disaster reduction, right? Geological foundations allow us to construct structures resilient to various hazards, and biodiversity. Geology defines and shapes our ecosystems that biodiversity adapts to and evolves with. And that brings us to resource extraction, because when we ignorantly or irresponsibly extract Earth's physical structure and substance, we disrupt the processes that act on it, which leads to broken ecosystems and biodiversity loss, right? So does that all kind of make sense so far?
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
All right, good, good. Just want to make sure we're following. I'm trying to dumb it down as much as I can, and
you're trying to make it clear. Let's not say not dumb it down. We're just trying to be explicit.
Well, it's just a couple articles that were pretty scientific, so I'm trying to bring it down to a level that people like us can understand. Because I had to read it a few times.
You're trying to decant the information. I'm quoting that.
Distill it.
But in the decanter, that's what yours. You should say, "Welcome everyone to the decanter." In fact, that's what you should kind of call the segment. You should be like, "It's a decanting corner."
Okay. Maybe that's what we should have called the pod.
That's not bad. It's not bad. If only we were experts. Go on.
Okay. So, right. So what we were just kind of talking about is we have all this geodiversity, but a lot of that geodiversity we extract, and if we don't do it right, we can really damage life on this planet. So why do we extract Earth's resources? You may think of a few things, but it actually, when they started listing all of the ways that we disrupt geodiversity, I was like, oh wow, I didn't really think of all of that. So the list is very long. I'm not going to do it all, but here are a few examples. The light bulbs that you use or might still use.
Is this number one or is this the last one?
What do you mean?
Are you doing a countdown? Are you doing a top?
I'm not doing a countdown. There's no rhyme or reason to this order. It's just a list, so don't worry about it.
I just wish you would do more. I just wish you would do more countdowns, because I think that it's better. It's people like countdowns. That's why everyone does them. People like top 10s, top 5s.
But there isn't. I mean, all right, top 4.
Top 4. There we go. Let's do it. Top 4. And
top 3. Let's do top 3.
Okay, and top 3 in no particular order. Okay, that way you're not saying there's any kind of favoritism or weight to these. These are all equally important, but these are the top 3 in biodiversity breakdown, right?
That's not what this is at all. Nope, that's not. So Antoine's not following along. So
okay.
So I'll dumb it down a little more.
A little more. All right, a little more. Top 3 in decanting corner.
So
take 2.
Top 3 reasons that we mine the Earth. And it's not the top 3. There's no reason other than I thought these would be relevant, that people can understand that there might be minerals out there that we're using that no one's ever heard of, but that's maybe 90% of all mining. I have no idea. Did not do the research. I went through the list and was like, oh, we all know those, so I'm going to use these as examples. So light bulbs.
Top 3 reasons why we mine.
Stop trying to confuse the issue, Antoine. You're just confusing everything. Don't worry about the list. Don't worry about the countdown.
Okay.
Let's just get through this 3 bullet points. Let's get through these 3 bullets.
Gotcha.
All right. So again, why do we extract Earth's resources? Your light bulbs, right? If you're using certain types of light bulbs, they need aluminum, silicon, phosphor, gallium, copper. If you're reading books, That favorite book you have in your hand right now, it needs pigments, binders, and solvents. Those all come from minerals. And our smart devices, that needs cobalt and lithium, right? So all these different things, and there's so many more we take out of the earth, but just gives you an idea of how much we are extracting. And it's not just like one type of thing. It's not like iron makes this and like that's what it is. It's like such a compilation of different things that we're pulling that end up as an end result for our products that we use every day of our lives. But that last one, right, lithium, that brings us to our story. And the story is around what the article is calling green colonialism. So Nevada has an enormous deposit of lithium. And President Joe Biden wants it mined because it's critical to his vision for the US to be the world leader in electric cars. And they need lithium batteries. And Biden has explicitly said that he wants the lithium mined in the US so that we as a country can move away from importing nearly 100% of our lithium from places like Australia, Chile, and China. So what's the problem, right? Okay, so what we want.
Well, the problem is how much of that lithium, what percentage of that is coming from China? Because let's not, what is it? Let's not pee on the listener and tell them it's raining. Okay, we're not afraid of cobalt coming from Australia. We're not afraid of cobalt coming from Chile.
That's not so much what the issue is. I mean, that could be part of an underlying thing of should we even be doing it, but that's kind of not the issue. So it's not so much we want to do it because it's made in America and we want to support jobs here. That isn't like what if that's what you're kind of gonna.
Well, it's more about we don't want to be cut off or strangled by basically someone who could have nefarious nature with regard to the deal.
Yeah, if we ever find ourselves in a conflict or
not just a conflict, but we just don't want to be squeezed. At the mercy of another nation, because especially if we have the abundant.
So a matter of national security, right?
Well, there it is. That's the only thing that gets the old coffers pumping. Is it a matter of national security? And that's why we need to make schools a matter of national security. That way.
I agree 100%. And so whatever the reason is, right? And
it's national security. Let's just call it.
But that's what so that's what that is. I don't think actually that's even being contested. We don't want to rely on something so critical to this country's future, this country's energy future, because if we do all of a sudden convert everything to electric and we're not able to support our own batteries, then we are going to be very vulnerable, very exposed.